Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by.
Hey everybody, happy Friday. It is just after 5 p.m. on Friday, August 21st. And we're going to do our Friday live and just go over a few things, and then I will take your questions. Hello everyone, good to see you. So you guys have been doing a really great job with communicating with the council, as well as doing your homework and making all of those contacts. So I'm really happy, about all of that. But what I wanted to show you is a couple of things let's just go over first. A couple of things to update you for the week. So the copay case. Several of you are still on. Did I lose my internet? Nope. I have a storm out here. So if there's a possibility that I lose my internet, we'll come back when I can. So let's talk about the copay case first. The copay case, many of you keep on other posting on other pages about EOBs. And if you look at our website, go to the Medicare page. We have put a statement out there onto what you can expect. We didn't roll this out yet. It was approved by the court. It now went to the third-party administrator. And so right there, you have to understand that there is a process. So I'm going to tell you, let me pull up the dates, and I will give you an idea, because I will put this up on the website this weekend, but I just wanted you to have an idea of what that will look like. So let's see. Administration. Okay. So starting on Friday, August 28th, which is next Friday, the settlement website will go up and the hotline will go up, and we will share that with you. But that's next week. And there's no reason to call because you haven't received anything. But by August 31st, just a couple days later, the notice of this settlement will be mailed to you and emailed if they have your email. And then we are going to start rolling out doing all of those documents and how to do them. We're going to do videos with you. I will come on a live like we did during the Medicare Advantage debacle, and we showed you how to opt out and how to fill out your forms, how we show you to fill out all your other forms. We will do that. But right now, there's nothing to do about that. Thank you, Long Beach, for asking me about that. Paras, what about the paras? Thanks for asking. That was the next thing. So the copay, just go to our website, look at our update page, look at the Medicare page. We are telling you what's going to happen. I will update it over the weekend with these dates. On the 31st, they'll be mailing you out stuff. There's nothing to do for at least another 10 days. So we've told you for a year, start putting together your receipts. You do not need EOBs. Stop calling Emblem Health. There is nothing they can do to help you. Okay, paras. So paraprofessionals who are on accidental disability retirement. These are paraprofessionals who obviously we all have heard in the news that they're low paid, they're obviously low pensioned, and they were on an accidental disability retirement, which means that their income is 2/3 of what they were getting. At least that's what they used to get. Then all of a sudden, the New York City actuary identified, and we believe this stems from the mayor asking for agencies to find savings, started digging through all the legislatures and reinterpreting some of the pension law. And then they reinterpreted RSSL, Retirement and Social Security Law, Section 605, which said, and it's been interpreted this way since 2002, since this law was amended to include teachers and paras, that they would get 2/3 their final average salary. Now, the wording of the bill is poor, and I will tell you that right from the start, and it must be amended. The problem is we've not been able to move the United Federation of Teachers to change the law to help these paraprofessionals. Now, we recognize the state legislature's session is usually January to June. We are in August. However, we also know that the governor does sometimes come back and calls a special session for December. We can do this now. So there's no reason why we can't, and we have several state legislators willing to help us do this. However, because this law impacts active UFT workers, active TRS members, of course, Michael Mulgrew will probably want to slap me upside the head if I start legislating a law that will impact an active teacher or an active para. But he has not been so moved to actually do a law with us. So we're playing around with some language, and we're calling state legislators and we're saying, hey, will you help us with this? And hoping that the UFT jumps on board, which is why we've asked the paraprofessionals and all of you guys to help out, to contact the UFT and call your state legislator and say, hey, we need to fix this so that these poor paraprofessionals don't get screwed. What were we able to accomplish by the power of collective action? New York City retirees, Fix Para Pay, and Fix Retiree Benefits all got together and taught everyone how to do a pressure campaign and contact TRS. And we educated the paras to call TRS, and they did. And what happened? Well, TRS said that if they filled out this waiver, which is also up on our website. There's a special para page on our website for these specific paras, that TRS would waive what was allegedly overpaid forever, but they have to fill out the darn form. Okay, so that just stops the collection of what was overpaid over the last how many years, but it doesn't stop the reduction. So further pressure campaigns were put upon TRS, and they came back and said to the paras, okay, I'll tell you what, if you guys as a group are going to work on amending the law, we will defer the reduction to January 27. So that gives you time to go fix the law. And we said, okay, let's do this. So now we know we're in the end of August. We have all of September, all of October, all of November, and I guess part of December. We have 4 months. And we know we've done this before because working in pensions my entire life, when I worked for the unions, one of the things we had happen was NYCERS, New York City Employees Retirement System, did something different, actually just like this, in 2006, I think it was. And while it was slightly different, it was basically the same premise. We had to change the RSSL, Retirement and Social Security Law. We filed an Article 78, and then the union came to me and said, you're right, but let us help you because this impacts active workers that could potentially use this law. So rescind your Article 78, and we did, and we will fix the law. And they did, and they did it quickly. There's no reason why the United Federation of Teachers and AFT cannot help us with this. So we know that this can be done. And so that's the update for the paras. So right now, as long as they complete the waiver, TRS, Teachers Retirement System, will no longer look to collect that overpayment, and that all that information, the details of that is on our website. And for those who retired in the last 3 years, that information is up on our website as well, how that impacts them instead of the ones that just retired a long time ago, as well as the deferment. And in order to defer, you get the deferment to January, you must ask. Now, the deadline was the 19th for the incoming pension check. So if they were to call today or after today, TRS, because it's already after 5, they're closed. If they were to call TRS on Monday, it would be the very next check after this one that's coming that they would see the bump up. They would get the full amount that they were getting, and the reduction for them wouldn't happen until January. So that's the paraprofessional accidental disability update. We still need a pressure campaign on the teachers union because they have not been so moved to help us change this law. And this law will need to be amended to grandfather these 100-something retirees, as well as to fix it going forward. So that's what we're going to do. We have nothing to do with the 10,000 lump sum payment, Long Beach. That has nothing to do with us. That was a law that was passed by default because the mayor didn't sign it. And there's a lot of opinions going back and forth. And today it is in court. So if you go up to the New York State Supreme Court website in Manhattan, you will see the city did file a lawsuit the very same day that the bill became a law. So we have nothing to do with that. That's an active worker issue. Okay, next thing. Oops. Too many notes. That was one. Okay. Nope. Now I changed pages. I was talking with my hands. Okay. I talked to you about the PayPal case. I'm sorry, the copay case, PayPal. So if any of you are donating to the organization using PayPal, we are urging you to please use our portal. You can go to our website, which is scrolling up at the top. See that? It's going right here. Go to our website. On every newsletter, we give you a video and explanation on how to use how to create an account and donate through the portal. If you're donating by PayPal, you can do that through the portal. But if you're doing it on your own through your PayPal app, it's costing us more money, and then we have to log it separately. So it's taking more man hours, and we're having to pay our bookkeeper all of that time to log those. So we're urging you to please, if you're going to donate by PayPal, please use our portal up above, this one that's scrolling right there. You have to go to our website. You'll find the portal. It's the very first page. It says portal or donate here, or just do it, because it will save us money and save us time and reduce our costs for logging, because we have to then download all of that information and then upload it into the portal. So please do that. And it does cost us more, so we're hoping to cut back on some of those fees. Intro 1088. I'm sorry, 1008. I keep saying 1088. Son of a gun. Intro 1008. So here's the thing. Intro 1008. And I gave out that newsletter the other day that said, if I say 1088, you understand why. It's just a brain thing. Intro 1008 is our new legislation. It was introduced by Council Member Marte on Thursday, the 13th at City Council. And we are asking all of you to sign on, to get the council to sign on to the bill. If I jump on over to the council, right now, as of now, we have 13 co-sponsors onto the legislation. Council members Chris Marte and Frank Morano, who are our sponsors, Phil Wong, Gail Brewer, Jim Gennaro, Harvey Epstein, Linda Lee, Shekhar Krishnan, Shahana Hanif, Ina Vernikov, Vicky Palladino, David Carr, and Joanne Ariola. And so I will update the website like I usually do. If I wasn't on here, I would jump to go update that. So, and then what I want you to do is go to our website. Let me see if I can pull that over, because I want you to see what I'm asking you to do. When you go to the homework page, you're going to see the list of people that need to get on our legislation, as well as those who already did get on. That way you can write a thank you note. So let me grab that page now and share that with you. So when you go here, you want to go to the homework, which is right there. And oops, let me scroll down. So this here tells you about our bill. It gives you a link to it so you can go to the website and read it. It gives you a little explanation that you can, remind the council politely that retirees are not in unions. They do not represent us. And under the Taylor Law and New York City collective bargaining law, unions can only negotiate for wages, hours, and working conditions, and retirees do not have those. We are not in unions. We do not vote on contracts. We were made a promise, and it should be kept. Also remind them that the City Council passed the Administrative Code in 1967 to give retirees Medicare and pay for it. The law says the city will pay the full cost of health coverage for every employee, retiree, and their dependent up to the HIP HMO. Our supplement is well below the HIP HMO. I told you who your sponsors are. And now you'll see this is who we still need to get to support us. Now, some of you have told me that council member Carl Wilson from District 3, who took over for Eric Botcher's office, Carl used to be his chief of staff, that his office is telling you, as well as a couple others, that you do not live in the district, they don't have to talk to you. That's false. And we will address that in the next 2 weeks. There's still a lot of people in the council that are on vacation. So as soon as I can address this, trust me, we will. If you're on our Facebook page or email us at nycretirees.org, we need to know who's telling you that you're not in the district, that they don't need to talk to you. I need to know that because we do want to address it. So let us know either on the thread on Facebook or email us at the org. So all of these people here need to get onto our legislation. So those would be your calls and your emails. You should contact the legislative office first, and if no one answers there, call the district office, and then, of course, email. I'm going to work on making this easier for you using like an action network, and then we'll take care of that probably for next week. And then if you keep scrolling down, you see at the bottom, these members get a thank you for supporting us. And this here tells you the date of who signed on and when, and then we're updating this. So I literally updated this today. You had David Carr sign on. I'll put Joanne Ariola on there today, but these people get a thank you. So just give them a quick thank you. And I'll be consolidating this again, like the ones up top. Okay. That way it makes it easier, for you to see it and to do it that way. Oh, let me go back to that. Hold on 1 second. And I want to go back up to the top. Let's go to the Medicare link. That's the Medicare page. You can see this little jumping is the update for the class action copay case. This here tells you that there's nothing to do yet. So relax. We're telling you here, do not call Emblem. You do not need your EOBs. And so on this page, I will update you as to what's happening on the copay case. Like starting with the 28th, they will make their website live. You will be getting mailed by the 31st. Your personalized claim forms will be coming out. So that's that page. Here's the pension debacle page for the paraprofessionals, and it tells you what to do here. And we tried to keep you updated. Here you have the TRS website. You have the TRS statement that's on their website. Here we show you how to fill out the waiver form, and we put it right here. That appeal is right there. Click that. We show you how to fill it out. That's so that they don't have to collect back that alleged overpayment. And so we're telling you what to do. File that appeal now. 2, call TRS immediately and request to defer the reduction of your pension. 3, we're telling you to write to TRS, copy the UFT, and ask them not to reduce your pension as the alleged misinterpretation was not your fault. We're explaining this. And then if you already did that email above, you don't need to do it again, but we are asking you to email everyone here, the union, the 3 board members on TRS right here, and tell them we need to change this law, and you need to help us do it because we can't do this on our own. This has to be done by the union. And then we're also asking you to contact your state senator and assembly member and telling them that RSSL, Retirement and Social Security Law number 605, needs to be fixed. And so there has to be an amendment, and we need help doing it. And we're hoping to get it done in a special session. And that would be if we can get the UFT to get off its tushy and help all of them. Now, I don't want to minimize this because the UFT keeps putting out emails saying it only affects 183 people. Well, I know that number's reduced slightly because some people were able to return to a 50% pension because they qualified, but still, I will never minimize 150 or 183 people or one person having their pension reduced because of a faulty law passed by the union in 2002. This needs to be fixed. And we are hoping with our organizations, us, Fix Parapay, Fix Retiree Benefits, that we can move the union to do the right thing. Okay. So that is that. Let me go back to my notes here. And see what else I had to tell you. I think that was it. 1008, the copay case, and the PayPal. Yep, that was it. So let's see, what questions do we have now? I think this is the fastest that city council members have ever gotten on one of our bills. Let's keep the momentum going. Absolutely. Anyone that I describe what happened to the retired disabled paras are horrified that this could happen. Absolutely, Laura. I agree with you. Because everyone is told that your pensions are protected. They can never be reduced, but that's not the case if there is a mistake. Now, TRS members are fortunate that the law does not have a requirement to make good on any errors or omissions. But in this situation, because there's other pension systems that do, like, for example, NYCERS and BRRS. So in this situation, it is literally the law department directing TRS to do this. And that is part of the problem. So I'm sure the UFT is saying it wants to sue. I have no idea what that's going to look like. If they're going to sue, what they should probably try negotiating, because you could see the power of the paras and our organization, Fix Parapay and Fix Retiree Benefits, that we did in just a matter of a couple of days by getting them to communicate directly with TRS, and that worked. So I'm very grateful for that efforts and you guys for doing that homework as well. Gerald, good to see Speaker Menon is not caving to Mamdani, suing the council on the para bill getting legislation. Might infer she's open to. I don't know. She hasn't said anything, and we've called her office for appointments. So hopefully that'll happen. But remember, again, it's like we need to wait like another 2 weeks, I guess, or after Labor Day for everyone to get back. UFT leaders even have to get urged to fix retired disabled parents. Yes, I agree. I definitely agree. The on New York City retiree page. Oh, that's okay. You could use that. But for those people, I'm glad you're using Apple Pay. That's fine. But if for those that are using PayPal, we're urging you not to go to the PayPal app and make a donation, that you make it through the portal, because then we have to go into PayPal app. We have to download all of that. Then we have to give it to the bookkeeper, who has to input manually each and every one of those donations. But yet, if you just went to our portal, you could do it right there, and it doesn't cost us anything. So it doesn't cost us extra. I know, Diana. I say 1088. At least I sent you the email. You understand why, but it's just, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm going to tell you, I know I'm going to keep doing it because Bob and I were talking this morning, and it's in my book. I wrote 1088. Even though it should have been 1008. 1008. I'll get there maybe by January. Are we going to be reimbursed for 2020? Well, Richard, no. No, which is why we need you to help us pass this law. If you could help us stop the copays by getting council to pass this bill, they stop. But in order to do this, they're not going to want to pay you back. Right now, those are technically legally being charged to you because the city and the OLR and the Municipal Labor Committee did it by changing the contract behind our backs. So no, the answer to that, no. I use the S script, very easy. I have no idea what that means. Did all emails last night, and also I did thank yous. Thank you, Phyllis. And I will make that easier, I promise. I will go back and do it through something. One of the things I used to do with it, the group, the one-click email things. Yay for your clear 1008 homework, doing it so far. I haven't gotten a live response from Carl Wilson's office. Yeah, and I even tried to call Purina Sanchez today, and their office is closed for the next 10 days. I don't think I ever remember a council member's office closing for 10 days. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Many city council members go back and forth between New York State Assembly and Senate and council. So if a council member wants to run for higher office, he or she should want to take our calls because a majority are. But yes, I agree with you. And that was actually a shock when we saw Keith Powers and Eric Botcher in the hallways of the Senate. They were like, "You're here?" And we were like, "Yes, we have a bill in the state legislature as well. You did not leave us. We did not leave you. Now that we know you're back, we expect you to be on the bill," especially since both of them were on the city bill. We both wanted them on the state bill. So that will be bringing back next year. While we want a full house of council member signers, some municipal retirees are aiming for 26 co-signers majority support. I say goal should be no less than 30. I agree with you. We should get the higher number because that would be a veto-proof majority. Would be a veto-proof majority. Driving into an area where I'm losing T-Mobile. Have a great weekend. Okay, you too. Be safe. What is the email you keep citing for us to read? I don't know which email. What are you talking about? Oh, the newsletter. We send out a newsletter. That's the email. We send out a newsletter with all the instructions. That's what we're asking you to pay attention to. Hey, Janice. You're welcome. Hello from Queens. What is the email designation and website? Merritt, I have no idea what you're asking. If you are on our email list and you get an email from us, if that's what you're asking about, we send an email out. We sent one out early this week. So that's what you should be looking for. And if I'm not answering your question, please re-ask the question, but in a little bit more detail. Council member decisions on our matters are far more reaching than just the 5 boroughs. I agree with you. How do you find the portal? Merritt, go to our website. When you get there, it's right there. The website will literally say to you, here, when you go to the website, let me go back up to the main page. This is the home page. Member portal. It's right there on the main page. Go to the member portal. And then it tells you to log into your account. And if you haven't, it tells you create an account. Create the account. We've been saying this for 2 years. So go here, member portal, click it, and create an account if you don't have one. And we're asking you to do your donations right through that portal. And on the bottom of every newsletter, there's a video from me that tells you how to create your account if you don't know how and how to set that up. And if you're having trouble, you can always email us. So let's see. No, Merritt, you don't need to change that. Regarding Virginia Maloney's office, the person who answered was her constituency director. He said he's fully aware of our issue in the bill, and he's worked with both former controllers Stringer and Lander. Said they've received calls supporting but none opposing, and he admired our advocacy. I thanked and encouraged him to urge Maloney to do her part by signing on. More work to be done, but let's hope council member staff will have more influence than we think. And I think they will. It's just we're in a kind of an in-between time that a lot of people are still on vacation. The council just passed a law giving themselves an 18.6% raise. They said they can do this because they don't have a union and it doesn't interfere with collective bargaining. So can't we use the same excuse? Send me where they said that, if you would, please, because I just don't want to quote you, Dan, even though I'm sure I trust you, but I'd rather be able to quote where that was quoted and who said that and send it to the org. Thank you. Has Garrido threatened council members like he did with 10? Not to my knowledge yet, but I'm sure I'll hear it if he does. Did you ever find out whether city will finally fix the insurance coverage for widows, and orphans of uniformed forces? I did not, Ellen. I do believe I was told that the city is covering the widows and children's welfare fund because stabilization has no money. I do believe they fixed that, but I still haven't gotten an answer on that. The few people that I still speak with that would have known, I did not get an answer back. And honestly, I forgot to ask again. Thank you for your steadfast support. Without your leadership, I hope all 250,000 retirees would be on Medicare Advantage. I hope they know it and donate. And yes, and we still have to keep the organization running because even though we don't have a pending lawsuit, we still have people we have to pay, like the lawyers still need to be paid because they're still helping us advocate with this administration, trying to get the city and the state bills passed. They're helping us with this language because we've been going back and forth with the language changes where we drafted the legislation, but the lawyers took a look at it. They tweaked it a little bit. Then the city tweaked it a little bit, went back to the lawyers. So there's this give and take. So we still have 2 lawyers. You still have 2 lawyers, at least through the end of the year, that are going to have to help us get through the copay settlement. We still have to pay them for that. That work's not done. And we still have these 2 bills to do. The city council bill now and the state bill that has to go through get introduced come January. We have a lobbyist we have to pay that's supposed to be helping us do the city legislation. And then when that's done, they're going to help us with the state legislation. These are expensive costs, right? We still have all of you keep asking me to do trucks or to do ads or to do whatever. That costs money. So if you want us to keep doing this and to stay alive and be able to advocate for you, the organization has to be funded. And again, none of us on this board get paid to do this. We don't get a salary. We don't get a stipend. We don't get anything. And yet there are times like when you ask me to go do this rally and I come into town to do the rally, expenses have to get paid. Signs, when we go to Albany, buses, your lunches and your dinners, like all of that has a dollar value. So we have to stay funded. So this is why going to our website and donating to our organization keeps this organization alive. And that's also why we asked people, like, when this is finally, we're moving towards the end of funding litigation, but the organization still needs to stay around to protect you because there are still bad actors here. As long as the MLC is led by UFT and DC 37, you have a high risk to be screwed because no one is holding them accountable other than us. And where the union should be holding them accountable, they haven't yet. And that is our job because we expose the truth and they just don't like that. Hi, sorry, I'm not updated on the new bill. Did we get any council members who didn't sign on to the last bill? Well, remember, you have a lot of new people and you do have some people that didn't sign on to the last one. Yeah, so please go check that out. We're up to 13. Yep, it was easy peasy. Man, hope 250. I kind of understood what you meant. Don't worry. I sent Ariola a private message 3 times in the last couple of days, so I'm glad she signed on. And I know that Joanne has supported us from the beginning, so I knew that that would be coming. I really want to make sure we start pressuring all the people that should also be having your back, like the others that had been on previous bills, like Darlene Mealy and Tiffany Caban. Like, they need to start coming back home. We need to get this passed. So that will be your homework next week, is to keep making those calls. And I will create an email for you to send on a one click, so that you're not having to click all of them and send. So let's see. Some retirees aren't aware that out-of-state municipal retirees who worked in New York City can and should contact city council members for 1008. New York City owes protecting the health. Yes. So if you live out of state and you're listening to this video, you can absolutely 100% call city council. And if anyone says you don't live in my district, I don't have to talk to you, or we're not listening to people in our district, not in our district, I need to know that. So email us at the organization, or if you're on our Facebook page, let us know. We need to know which council members' offices are telling you that. That is not an answer, because as a retired municipal worker, the city has a responsibility to be able to protect you in this situation. It was the council that gave us this law for healthcare. It wasn't collectively bargained like Michael Mulgrew or Henry Garrido want to say. This law was given to retirees, and it wasn't actually implemented or requested by the unions. It was requested with retirees and by the mayor at the time, was supported by retirees, requested by Mayor John Lindsay. 2 city council members drafted the law, and it became a law. And it was amended dozens of times, supported by the retirees and even a couple of the unions, including the UFT and DC 37 over the decades. So there's no reason why they can't support it now. But here's another thing. When some of you have asked me in an email today, why does Michael Mulgrew say, or Henry Garrido say, that this bill violates collective bargaining? And if we're not subject to the Taylor law, and we're not subject to the Taylor law because we are not employees. You could read the law, and I probably need to do another couple of short little videos again, or dig up those old ones and dust them off. You are not covered by the Taylor law. You are not in a union. The Taylor law governs unions and the city's employee relations. You are not in a union. You're not in a collective bargaining unit. You don't vote on contracts. You are not subject to the Taylor law. But why would Michael Mulgrew or Henry Garrido say that this bill impairs their collective bargaining? Well, if Michael Mulgrew has to finance the next teacher contract, or next year because their bargaining opens in 27, or Henry Garrido this year because his contract expires this fall, they're going to have to come up with something, because they're still, I guess, trauma bonded to giving stuff up all the time, of having to pay for things. They should not have to always pay for something. There's inflation, things cost more. They're always doing this type of a bargaining where they're giving give-backs. These 2 unions have made a practice of putting their hand in your pocket, and they want your copays. They want your pension money. They want the ability to fund their deals, but not pay for it. And in order to get that funding, they need to be able to put their hand in your pocket. If you close the pocket by passing this bill, it impairs their ability to collectively bargain for stuff and have you pay for it. That's how it impairs their bargaining. Got it? Now, the other thing we can also tell them, which we've said many, many times, is that the union, you'll hear Michael Mulgrew on one of our videos where he says it 3 times in like 2 weeks, that they cannot roll back the co-pays, because then the city will give less raises to active teachers, and doesn't want to hear active teachers bitch at him because retired teachers, retirees did not want to pay co-pays. Well, if he also says, if the city council legislates this law, well, they could always reverse it and take it back. so they could diminish your health care later on. And I scratched my head on that one and I said, in 60 years that this law has been around, the city council didn't just pass this bill in 67. They amended it a dozen times, protecting retirees, increasing the benefits since 2001, over 60 years, and never charged retirees more. The only ones that diminished benefits and took something away was the UFT and DC 37. They violated our collective bargaining, all the agreements that were made with us over the decades of our service. The city council didn't do that. The mayor didn't do that. The two largest unions in the city did it in collusion with the mayor's office of labor relations under the last two mayors, not the council. It was literally the United Federation of Teachers in 2014. In 2016, that's when they were doing more hanky business with changing the HIP rate, suppressing the rate, the benchmark, and then in 18, DC 37. So we shouldn't have to worry about the city council diminishing our benefits, because in 60 years, the only party that did that was UFT and DC 37 under the leadership of the MLC. So they're not really being honest with you when they say stuff like that. I know he's using it as a scare tactic to tell you that this violates bargaining, that he doesn't want to stop the copays because it's funding active raises. I just want you to think about that for 1 second. The elderly and the infirm, 9/11 responders, widows, widowers, our disabled children going to the doctor for needed medical care, costing us more money on our fixed incomes, is financing active teacher raises, is what he told you. I just want you to think about what he said, because that's exactly what came out of his mouth. So we're going to keep fighting to make sure that that stops, because that was absolutely egregious. It's antithetical to the entire labor movement. No union leader should say, I am going to partially fund my active worker raises on the elderly and disabled needing to go to the doctor, whether it's dialysis, physical therapy, cardiac rehab, chemotherapy, whatever. You going to the doctor funds the teacher raise, and that's got to stop. So you were promised a protection. You were promised that if your healthcare was under the HIP HMO rate, that you would be protected and you wouldn't have to pay additional costs. The little cost of your senior care, your little senior care supplement plan only pays 20% of your medical bill. That little plan is about $200 and change a month. The HIP HMO is over $1,000 a month. Your plan is well under that rate, and you should never have been charged anything. This is what has to keep coming out of our mouths when we talk to city council. When I write that email over the weekend for you to send to council, I will make sure I put those bullet points in there for you so that you could easily talk about it. I'm probably exposing my dumbness, but upon our retirement date, are we not guaranteed benefits in place under the contract we retired under? You are supposed to, but the mayor's office of labor relations under de Blasio and Eric Adams allowed that to be diminished. And this is why, did I lose my internet or did I freeze up? This is why the mayor's office of labor relations likes these kinds of deals, because they're basically sitting in a room with the UFT and DC 37, not 162 unions. So if they can get Michael Mulgrew or Henry Garrido, the two largest unions, to change something, they will, even though everybody else. So unfortunately, that's what keeps happening. I keep freezing, and I don't know why, but I know I have a storm out here. So sorry if you're not getting me clearly. I wish Susan Zwang would sign on. I wish Susan Zwang would sign on too. Hopefully she had committed to us as we helped her get elected. I know, Laura, and we're trying to work on that. And our group has accountants and tax specialists it has to pay, and hires outside consultants on healthcare contracts to review the city's stuff. We do. We have our tax attorney, a bookkeeper, and an accountant, and that's why there's so many different levels of protection in our organization. There is nothing on YouTube. I don't know what that means. We are broadcasting to YouTube. I could see it on YouTube. Former President, Uniform Firefighters Association, Ansbro, was just appointed Executive Deputy Commissioner of the Fire Department Pension Fund, Ansbro's reward for selling out retiree healthcare. Yeah, I've been really disappointed in Andy, but everyone keeps telling me to stop banging my head against the wall, talking to people that just don't have an open mind to understand why they're wrong. And that's one of those mentalities where people don't want to admit that they made a mistake. So they're just going to dig their heels in and not look at it a second time, because if they don't, then they don't have to see that they were wrong and made a mistake. I meant that since the council passed the law giving themselves their raise, not to interfere with collective bargaining. I understand. Council members still reading, slow reader. I know, it's literally like a couple of sentences. It's like 2 or 3 sentences. I don't know what to tell you. Speaking about drug coverage, there are about 250,000 retirees, and few signed the petition to have our drug coverage paid for. Like many of the other unions, UFT is a very large welfare fund. Yeah, so that's part of fixed retiree benefits with Arlene and Dan. So work with them, and hopefully they'll help you with that. Yes, the key to victory is donate, donate, donate. Absolutely. We need to be able to pay the people helping us get these advances that we're getting. But you know what? When you think about it, protecting us retirees is in effect also protecting actives whose raises are funded by reducing our benefits, because they too will retire some. And I don't think they honestly understand that. We've always struggled to have active workers pay attention. If the city bids out senior care Medigap plans soon as expected, do you know how they plan to screw us even further? I really worry about hospitals during via increased copays at NYU Langone, et cetera. So part of the thing with that is that, yes, they're looking at redoing it, but I think they were talking about now 27 to potentially start that rebid. They can't necessarily do hospital tiering because Medicare pays first. So that would have to be a pre-Medicare issue on the NYC EPPO, which they already did. They already did hospital tiering in that. So I don't see that happening in the senior care plan because Medicare is the primary payer. But they will increase your copays or they will increase your deductibles. And we already know that they were talking about increasing the deductible of senior care to $300. So there you go. And yes, that came out of the MLC. And when I say the MLC, it came out of like Michael Mulgrew and Henry Garrido working with the city of New York. So, yeah. I call Zwang every day. I tell her office that she promised us. Judy, if you live in her office, let me know. If you live in her district, my apologies. Can anyone, even if they're not municipal retirees, call in support? Yes, they absolutely count us. People can support 1008 even if they're not a New York City retiree because they know what that means. I mean, that could also be a public support campaign. Are we backing Blakeman or Hochul? So Long Beach, we have put out those feelers to see if we can speak to them both. We want to talk to them. And as soon as I have one of them committing to us to come on a Friday Live and see if they will support our healthcare issue, we will. And then hopefully they will be able to tell you that directly. I'm trying to see if I could lock one of them in for next week. And if that's the case, then you will start to see candidates, because this is going to pick up right up after Labor Day for, you know, all the electioning. So I'm trying to get those appointments scheduled for our Friday Lives. And as soon as I know, you'll know. And remember, I mean, hopefully they both tell you that they would support us, and if the law came across their desk, they would pass it. But I haven't had all of those conversations yet. You will be the first to know when I do. New York City Council needs to wake up. It's their retiree healthcare too with actives. I agree. So that's it, everybody. We're pushing an hour, and I want to get your Friday going. I can't thank all of you enough for everything that you have done. Remember, if you've missed anything, go back to the very beginning of this video, because I gave you all your news in the top portion of this live, and that's really important for you to just go back and listen to the copay case information. Go to our website, log in to create an account on our portal if you haven't already. Do your emails. The homework page is there. If you're a paraprofessional, go to the para page. Everything is at the top of our website. If you go up to the top, you'll see here, it'll say para pension debacle, the Medicare retirees, your homework, like all the important stuff is right up there. If you click more, there's more links for you to go to. So we tried to make it as easy as possible. I will update the council member page and then try to create those emails for you with a one click, so you're not clicking all of these other ones, and help you with all of that. But I'll need the weekend to get that accomplished. And then remember, your calls start back up on Monday. So, no, Kathy, I don't have an opinion on that office. They look into dark issues in the system called the Office of Insurance. It's actually for insurance. I think it's insurance of accountability or whatever. Council member Menon a year ago or 2 years ago did this. 2 years ago did this office. It's underfunded, and I think it's duplicitous. It just creates another layer of bureaucracy. And I think it was also a way for the unions to try to control some of the healthcare decisions outside of OLR, going around the bargaining issues, which I'm not happy about. But the speaker knew how I felt about it when I testified a couple years ago. And actually, which was very weird, not only did I not support it, neither did OLR. And I'm like, gee, there's an unusual thing where I actually agree with OLR. We don't need another office to do this. But if they're looking at it on a citywide basis or whatever, but we've always told the speaker and the council that some of these changes have to be done at the state. And the reason why healthcare costs are escalating in this hospital systems is because a law was rolled back under the Pataki administration in 1996 that regulated hospital pricing. Once that was released, they thought that the hospitals would average themselves out and there would be accountability amongst each other and competition. No, that's not actually how it happened. It actually was the opposite, where they all went haywire, got greedy, and started, playing games with hospital pricing. And that's exactly why we've said multiple times, this has to be regulated at the state level, not the city level. So you guys have your homework. You know where to go. Go to our website. Go back to the beginning of this video for all of the updates so that you have everything that you need. Have a really great weekend. I love you guys. You know I do. Yes, I love you guys too. Yes, Laura. And my dog is going nuts. There's deer outside. And do your homework. Next week, we will go ahead and do everything that we said we would with the phone calls. And again, pressure campaigns on the city council. So if you are, remember, donating to us, make sure you go to the portal and you're not using PayPal app, you're using PayPal donations right through the portal. So please do all of that to help us with the labor that we're spending, the money that we're spending to actually have that manually entered into our system and allocated. So you guys have a great weekend. Get off your computers for a little while. I love you guys. Ciao. I will see you on Monday on the radio.
Don't speak what you don't understand. The truth is not in your command. Don't shout about what you think is fake. The decision isn't yours to make. Don't lie about the way things are. Tall tales will take you very far. Don't scoff when they say it's the end. In this life, you know you can't pretend. The days pass by.